then another really popular business was the Kona Coffee, and we got to go to the factory, and which was really interesting. We got to talk to the people that own the factory, and we got to like taste the different coffee samples. And Kona Coffee is really, really popular all throughout, not even just the United States, but all throughout the world. And the weather and location in Hawaii are the two major reasons why it's such a successful business and why it can be mass-produced. The weather is, like Billy was saying, it's always really sunny, but like in the morning, there's like a little bit of rain, and then there's mild nights, and then with the soil, it's just like the perfect, like ideal growing conditions. And then we also went to the chocolate factory, which was really fascinating. It was actually more like a farm. It was like a chocolate farm. And so when we got there, we met the owners right away, and they were a couple. They had lived in North Carolina. They had lived in the United States their whole life, and then they decided to make the move to Hawaii and get involved in the chocolate industry. So they had a beautiful house right on the property, and it was great. We got to tour the whole entire like property and see the process of how they actually make the chocolate. And we put some pictures up there, because it's actually like a fascinating process. I had no idea, but even like that right there is actually referred to as like the placenta, which is actually like kind of disgusting. But like you would never expect some of these things to like be put into making chocolate. So it was really fascinating. The people were so nice, answered all of our questions, and we got to have some samples of the chocolate, and it was delicious. And we bought some to bring for our families and friends. So it was really a very cool experience to go tour the chocolate factory.
You met another group of students.
Oh yeah, we did. Yep, and we met another group there too, which was really cool. And I forgot where they were from. Oh, it was Kentucky. Yeah, so it was interesting to kind of compare experiences. Definitely different areas of the states. So we also went to a papaya factory, which was really kind of fascinating. And I put an interesting fact up there. It was funny, when we got in there, they kind of warned us. They were like, don't be scared, but a lot of inmates actually work there. So we were all kind of like trying to take pictures, but like not make it too obvious. But it was really interesting. All the workers, they were really nice. And we got to talk to like the owners, and they explained like how the business worked, like the background of the business, everything like that. They had, we got to actually like put the papaya like on the actual like conveyor belt and like kind of be like a part of the process, which was really, really interesting. And we got to also taste the papaya, which I wasn't crazy about it. I know Dr. Moran really enjoys it, but we ate it to be polite, but it wasn't definitely our favorite fruit.
All right, now one of the nights we went to one of the Hawaiians' biggest traditions is the luau, and it was at the Hilton, and they put on a great show. They have a pig roast, which is one of the main courses at a luau, and it involves we involve dinner, and then it also with great Hawaiian food, great Hawaiian nice spread. We had a great feast, and after we ate, they put on a great show with professional hula dancers, and toward the end of it, they actually called people in the crowd to come up on stage and try and do the hula. And our friend Dickel up there is the one up there on the far right, where Jackie's going to point. Yep, that's him up there. So he did very well, and it was just a great time, great night. So.
Okay, so another one of the days, we went to a historical park, which was really cool because we had been learning about all the business aspects, and we learned about the art, but we actually got to learn a lot of the historical stuff as well. And with Hawaii, there's a lot of stories of like gods and like of the ancient gods and kings and things like that. And so we got to tour this beautiful park, and our tour guide brought us along, and he told us so many like old historical stories that were absolutely fascinating. And one that stuck with us was there's a story about sharks, and how like years and years ago at feeding time, the sharks would come to the water, and still like years and years later, even though like this was like years past, the sharks would still come. So while we were there, like we weren't really even listening to the tour guide because we were like too busy looking for the sharks. But unfortunately, we didn't see any. Or it could be fortunately. But so he had really cool stories to share with us, and a lot of interesting things about the history and old stories of Hawaii. So it was really fascinating, and cool experience. And then another thing that we got to do, which was really cool, is we all went on our own to do business interviews. So we met with a couple different businesses, whether it was restaurants or stores, and we asked them questions about how the economy has had an effect on them and their business. And everyone that we met with was like very, they were definitely like willing to answer our questions. And I went to Island Silversmith. It was a store, and I met with this woman, Sally, who was really sweet and answered all our questions. And she said that she's definitely seen a decrease in sales. The economy's definitely had an effect. She said a lot of people will still come in. There's still plenty of tourists. They'll come in, they'll look around, but there's a lot less purchases. No one's really buying. They're just kind of looking, which is kind of sad. But she said the business is still doing okay. It's just had a bit of a bump. So, our conclusion. In conclusion, Hawaii was an extraordinary experience. We were able to tour small businesses and learn how they relate to businesses on the mainland. It was fascinating to go on tours of factories and talk to owners that taught us about the business aspects of the companies. Overall, it was a fun educational trip that enabled us to expand our horizons.
And I would just like to say that on our trips, we learned a lot, great knowledge of the companies and everything, but even when we weren't on the trips and we just had our downtime, hanging out by the pool and everything, we learned. The Hawaiian culture over there is so different from over here, and as much as we were fascinated to meet all the Hawaiians and what they do and everything, they were so fascinated to meet us because we're have such a different lifestyle than them, and they could just tell that we weren't from there and wanted to know all about us as much as we wanted to know about them. So it really was great, and I would like to thank Dr. Moran again for this opportunity. It really was like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. We all had a great time, and
Learning experience.
Doc made it happen, and it was very good. So thank you.